Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today being the afternoon of Sunday, the 9th of November 2025, I'd like to welcome you again to our channel where we tackle issues pertaining to innovation, technology, and developments in Africa, for Africa and for African people. I'd like to thank you once more for being part of this initiative. Today, I decided that I'm going to continue from where we left off last week, recalling that we decided to tackle a topic which, in my view, hasn't been dealt with adequately or properly within the innovation systems community in South Africa and elsewhere in the continent, in our continent of Africa, which is the issue of indigenous knowledge systems, African indigenous knowledge systems, and how have they been or are being or should be integrated into and as part of the innovation system in our continent. I thought I should highlight some historical facts and developments. And last week, you'll recall that I moved from the premise, as I still do today, that technology innovation has been part, and perhaps even the leading part, of the African society long before the onslaught of imperialism and colonialism into our continent, long before the arrival of people and invaders from other continents. So, as an example, I highlighted and I cited last week that, for instance, the health system, African people have always had their ways of dealing with matters of health and medicine, treatment and management of diseases. For centuries, hundreds or perhaps even thousands of years. For instance, let's say in relative terms, relatively recent past, like take the question of snake bites. Snake bites were not signs of certain death in Africa. For centuries, African people had a way of dealing with snake bites and venom and treating people who have been bitten by snakes. Long before the arrival of colonialists and imperialists into the African continent, they had innovative ways of dealing with this and of dealing with all sorts, with a plethora of diseases that we have that we have today and that have been given certain names. They had their own ways of dealing with, innovative ways of dealing with them, in the same way as they had their own legal jurisprudence. For example, they had their own legal systems and ways of managing conflicts and disputes long before we had the imposition in the case of South Africa of the so-called Dutch legal system. But that's digressing a little bit. The question here is on technology innovation in the technologies in the networking space and the indigenous knowledge systems. Imperialism and colonialism are by their nature, by their purpose, violent and criminal. So just from the word go, they are violent, criminal, and barbaric systems, and that's what motivates them. So they come, or rather they came to uproot, as they did in the case of slavery, when they physically uprooted people. They come to uproot, destroy, and disrupt the living order of a people, which is what happened. So colonialism and imperialism came with the destruction and disruption of the African way of life and order system, and in a way disrupted innovations which were already advanced, which were far advanced at that stage, halted and disrupted those systems. All the advances in all areas. We might argue with the terminology in what we call as an example, medicine today, in what is called environmental management, the management of the environment and the ecosystem. All those are the production of food, and development of military systems. All those areas of human endeavor and human development were at far advanced stages in Africa than anywhere else in the world. When they came to be disrupted and destroyed, and sometimes reversed by the barbaric nature of imperialism and colonialism. That is the area that I like us to look at things today when looking at the indigenous African knowledge systems, innovation and development. We must move, and in this channel in particular, we unapologetically move from that perspective, from that premise. And I'd like to challenge you, my fellow Africans, my fellow beings, my fellow participants in the innovation system, here in Africa and elsewhere in the world, to engage with those questions and issues openly and frankly as we seek solutions. As always, I implore upon you to subscribe, like, and invite other people into this channel, and urge them to be part of this endeavor as we tackle issues which I believe are of critical importance for innovation and development of people in the African continent. Utemba Wagamataba, as I sign off, I say bye-bye until we meet next week. Bye.